Now you might have some DJs that might play some disco songs, and those disco songs will be songs that could actually transfer over into hip hop. You know what I mean? Like our first record, we used Cheryl Lynn's "To Be Real." That was a disco record, but it had a hip hop feel. So we basically put that record in like the hip hop Hall of Fame. So everybody plays "To Be Real," a part of their repertoire, but not all disco records make it into that repertoire. You know what I mean? So basically, what I was saying to Marquise is that it was that well, not even hip hop, rap, right, which is one element of the culture. It's only one element, and that's the element that got focused on because it was the vocal part, right? DJs in the beginning, they weren't producers; they were just DJs, and they basically played other people's music, and we rapped over other people's music because we didn't have our own music. It wasn't until an industry started to evolve that the record labels didn't want us to use other people's music because they wanted the publishing credit. So they began to allow people to produce. Now, DJs got better at producing, and now they're creating hit records. So the whole point was hip hop is a teen thing. We were teenagers when we gave birth to hip hop, right? And hip hop was born out of a desire to be a part of something that we couldn't be, and that was disco. Disco was 21 and up for women, 23 and up for men. Disco was hard bottom shoes. Disco was button up shirts, blazers, right? Women, you know, they dressed in their gowns or whatever, and that was disco. We were straight hip hop, straight out the streets, right? I remember one day standing in front of 371. 371 was a big disco club up in the Bronx. DJ Hollywood was the house DJ, right? And I remember standing in front of the 371 one day, and security was like, "Yo, shorty, you can't stand right here. You can go across the street, but you can't stand right here." Now, this part of the Bronx that I'm talking about, the South Bronx at the time, it was burnt down. So you could hear Hollywood playing inside for 5 blocks in every direction. You know what I mean? Because the Bronx at that time was pretty much a flatland. So I had to go across the street to hear Hollywood do his thing, right? And we wanted to have that, but we couldn't. This is how hip hop comes into fruition. This is how it's born. It's born out of a desire to be a part of something that we couldn't. The only choice that we had was we wasn't doing disco records. We wasn't playing disco music, not a lot of it, but we was playing what they call today break beats. You know what I mean? Anything that had a funky beat. Basically, anything that James Brown did, you know what I mean, was considered hip hop for us because we could break dance on it, you know, we could b-boy on it, and we could rap on it. And that was hip hop. That's how it was born. And we was teenagers when we did this. You know what I mean? And it hasn't actually changed. The only time somebody older than a teen could get in the game is if they've never been in the game. And once they get out and they put out a record and the world finds out, oh, this guy is 40 years old. It ain't the same. They don't keep following. They end up losing, you know what I mean? So